We're moving out of the apartment that we've been in for a decade. You accumulate a lot of stuff over the course of a decade. This is my first big move in obviously like 10 years. And I honestly don't know where to begin, and it's starting to really stress me out. Because also, if I'm being honest, everybody loves a good moving vlog. And so I feel like I need to capture this effectively and strategically because I kind of only have like one shot at it. And instead of just getting to it, packing things, putting things away in bags, in boxes, I've just been like sitting and spiraling, thinking about like, what is the best order to film it all in? And then I went on a little girls trip last weekend and I came home and Darren had already started. He pulled out like 80% of the stuff in the storage room and he's just been very productive. And I kind of had the audacity to be frustrated with him for not waiting for me to film it all. We move in like less than a month. Like we don't have time for me to be curating everything perfectly. So here we are. Oh, we are moving to be closer to my husband's work. And this move is going to involve a major downsize. We're currently in about 1,000 square feet with beautiful high ceilings. We love our apartment so much. And we're going to be reducing everything and trying to fit all our stuff into about like 400 square feet. Basically, if we haven't used it once in a decade, if we haven't missed it in a decade, it's probably a sign we should get rid of it. Oh yeah, and this new apartment is going to be on the other side of the world. We are moving to Hong Kong. So yeah, none of this box of Kaya's dolls and Halloween costumes. They're not coming with us. So our game plan right now is really breaking things down into things that we are going to sell because it would be lovely to try to recoup some money, things we're gonna give away to family and friends, and then things that we can just straight up donate. And then unfortunately, there's probably gonna be a pile of stuff at the end that will just be straight up garbage, but really hoping to not have to straight up throw anything away unless it's just truly not usable to anybody else. So first order of business is to go through all the boxes that were brought up from storage to see what is inside them, what can be purged, and what we'd like to keep. And can I just say I'm not cut out for doing this task efficiently? I'm too much of a nostalgic person. Dolls Darren has got me over the years, stuffed animals I loved as a kid, and the little outfits I made for them. I can already tell the most difficult part of this process is going to be letting things go. But I did eventually manage to set some of the newer and more relevant dolls aside to be regifted to some of the kids in our life, and I held on to a very select few that were extra sentimental. Getting rid of my Halloween costumes from the past few years was weirdly devastating because a lot of them I had actually made from scratch and nobody wanted them. So I spent some time deconstructing them and gathering the leftover fabric from making them and donated it to a group that gathers all of these fabric scraps and craft supplies and sells them so they don't go to waste. I think the hard goodbyes of yesterday were preparing my fragile heart for today. The foundation on which I had once dreamed of building a Beauty and the Beast worthy library, going through 2 massive bins of my books and the ones still on the shelves. I've already done a painful book purge twice before, once when we moved here, and again when I had to move them into storage to accommodate all the PR I was getting as an influencer. My game plan is to break my books down into 4 categories. Give away to someone who could steward them and love them hopefully as much as I would. Give away to those who really need them, like a lot of the books I have with a lot of representation for marginalized groups. Then there's the ones I want to try to sell to try to recoup the literal thousands of dollars I've spent on books over the years. And anything unworthy of the above was to be donated, which I was incredibly humbled to find out was more than I thought. Pulp Fiction only wanted to buy a handful of my books, and the remainder they volunteered to donate to hospice for me. And so I went through a lot of them and pulled out anything that I felt would be better suited elsewhere, and ended up adding them to the little public libraries around my neighborhood. And a good friend of mine took a lot of the children's and teen ones to the elementary school where she works. I'm really surprised by how this process really felt like a goodbye or closure on who I once was. Books and writing used to be my everything, my identity, and I definitely still love books, I love writing, but I realized, especially through my faith journey, that having your identity tied up in something external or in what you love or what you do can easily make you feel like you've lost yourself if you're not doing the thing. Or at least that's what happened to me. And I think it's one thing to feel bad that you aren't spending time on the things you love. It's another to spiral into a depression fixated over it. Also, weirdly enough, I wasn't really happy when I was reading a lot of these books. They were a form of escapism through my early teen years when I felt particularly unlovable. So it was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be to say goodbye to a lot of them. Okay, things are moving pretty fast around here. We're just not systematic people. Whereas any other normal person getting ready for a move probably would have worked room by room, category by category. Instead, we decided to pull up every single box, tear down our linen closet, pull out all of our china, and just like dump it all in our living room and dining room, which inevitably just made us incredibly overwhelmed because we do still have to live in this apartment for the next month. I still have to work in this apartment. I still have brand deals filming in this apartment, so it does have to look somewhat functional. So I had to spend the other day actually cleaning and making it so we could see the floor, just to kind of allow us to be a bit more sane. So we could also take pictures of the things that we want to sell. Like, we didn't even have a surface to lay anything on to take a photo of, but now we do. We've also been doing that thing where you just get distracted by all of the old stuff you find. Like everything from getting sappy about our wedding vows to trying on old outfits and dance costumes, and basically putting on every single thing in your wardrobe as you decide whether or not to keep it. So today I'm going to try to stay focused, concentrating on my product shelves. The way I've been avoiding this for way too long. Still good, but I just have so many other products. This shampoo wasn't originally this color. I feel like this is really eye-opening to the amount of waste that comes with being an influencer. And though I don't think I'm gonna have this same problem in Hong Kong, I don't anticipate getting as much PR. It does make me more mindful of how I'm gonna use my products going forward, making sure to label them with their expiry dates so that I can give them away if they get close to their date and I don't anticipate using it in time. As I go through my products, I'm setting aside ones that are gently used and not expired and giving that to friends and family. The things that are super expired and unusable, I am tossing down the drain and then recycling the containers. And there's still so many items that I'm feeling really precious about that I want to review on my blog that I'm holding on to for now. And there's a ton of stuff still in my other storage room that is unopened that I'm hoping to donate and give away if I don't get the chance to use it in the next 3 weeks. I'm now in the process of getting rid of my makeup. A bunch of my friends are coming over tomorrow to help me clean up and purge and pack, and I thought it would be more strategic to get stuff out of the way that just is straight up garbage, put aside the things that I want to keep, and then put stuff aside that they can like pick through and take home for themselves. I've already gone through a lot of my nail polish, and now we are attacking my makeup palettes and other makeup things. I don't feel like I had that much to go through. I did a pretty big cleanup. Okay, 2021, that was a while ago when I went to Ghana, and I brought a bunch of stuff for my cousins, like old palettes and stuff that they would appreciate. So everything I have here is stuff that I decided to keep then or is new. These guys here are my straight up base palettes. We're about to call in some backup. I have some of my best friends coming over and I'm gonna try and pawn off a lot of products on them. They're gonna help me organize some things, maybe take some photos of stuff to sell, I don't know. Or maybe we'll just reminisce and be all nostalgic and sappy about the fact that I'm leaving. Our evening began with the most critical of tasks, claiming beauty products, for which I had to set some ground rules, which was, if you think you're actually going to use it, please take it. If you don't think you're going to use it, don't take it, and I'll find somebody else to give it to. I try my best to share and pass on products to people throughout the year, but it's really fun to have a bunch that everyone can pick through at once. I really wish I could donate more of it so that they don't end up as untouched piles at someone else's place, but most collection centers understandably don't accept anything opened or used, which is where the backlog usually comes from for me. As a content creator, you need to try something to review it, so you just keep opening things and never really get to finish them. We took a break when Darren called us to dinner, and I don't know if they knew how much this last dinner together really meant to us. We cleaned off the table to use it as designed one last time. Hundreds of meals have been shared with family and friends in this room over the years. Darren loves hosting and cooking for others, and it felt like a really special way to close out an era. After dinner, we tried to take photos of items to put on Facebook Marketplace. One of the biggest tasks was trying to take photos of and measure all of the chiffon we used to decorate our wedding hall, and I have been meaning to sell it for the past 6 years. I'm doing nothing helpful. Like put this, loosen the top and take. I'm helping! I kind of feel like I want to cry, but not about anything specific. But I feel like I'm just like one thing away from a breakdown. I'm in that kind of like frozen procrastination mode where like I have a lot of concrete things I could be doing, a lot of things I should be doing, but I'm kind of frozen and unable to do any of it. It's funny, Darren and I keep swinging back and forth between being like, we have so much to do, to being like, this is so chill, like everything's fine, we have so much time. And then we look around and we have stuff everywhere. And it kind of feels like if we just put all of this stuff back where it belongs, that our apartment would still be full. Like it feels like we didn't get rid of that much stuff, despite clearing out multiple tubs. I think we're at like 8 bags of clothing now has gone to donation. Friends have picked up like all my products, not all my used products. And I still have some content deadlines that I'm trying to fit in. Trying to make like as much money as possible right before I leave, because who knows what work is gonna look like for me on the other side of the world. And I'm also trying to fit in friends. Been really grateful for people who've come over and have helped like clean up or just are okay with just being here. But then at the same time, I have so many kind, selfless people in my life that I love that want to come over and just be here with me or help pack, but I feel like I don't really have much that people can help with. Like a lot of it is just Darren and I sucking it up and deciding what to keep, what to get rid of or not. I also have to train these guys to get into their crates. You have no idea what's in store for you, do you? No idea. Also, tell me why I told my agent that I was available for auditions and like booking gigs up until the 4th of August. We leave the 5th. So like I've been doing auditions and self-tapes all throughout this madness. I don't know. This is officially the most stressful day so far. Taking the cats to the vet so that they can get all of their shots for Hong Kong. Rosie likes outside, but she doesn't like being contained and understandably does not like being stabbed with things. Beans, on the other hand, hates going past the threshold of our door. We're right here, we're on an adventure. Rosie was honestly pretty good until they stuck a thermometer up her butt. Beans, on the other hand, was shaking and honestly super traumatized. She wet herself immediately upon leaving the house. They're going to be joining us a month or two after we land so that we can have an apartment ready and they're not trying to stay in hotels or anything with us. But this whole process made me incredibly worried about them being okay on the flights. Then it was time to call in some serious help with my clothing. I'd already gone through most of my stuff twice before, but I needed help editing because between Darren and I, we were only taking 7 suitcases. And 2 of them are carry-on sized.
So are we gonna go a la guy? We're gonna go flat?
Oh, I don't know. We could just put it in
and then unpack it a third time. No. No, we're not doing that.
We're not?
No,
Okay.
we're not.
I love that, but I feel like it looks ratty.
I think that would look good
travel in
actually
an
with
outfit.
booties and jeans. Or is that,
In China, it's like 90 degrees there.
what if she goes to Europe somehow?
So you want to keep this into storage?
Yeah.
After you just said it was ratty.
In the end, I did end up having to repack again because everything didn't fit in my suitcases and the boxes I'm storing at my parents' were full. We have 9 days to go, and 3 of those days are going to be spent at a wedding out of town. And I think at this point, Darren and I are just getting a little bit delirious.